One of my most frequently asked questions is some variation of what are the things that you keep around, what are things that you travel with, or what are your favorite go-tos from Costco, things like that. I thought I'd just kind of combine all of those into one video. What are things that I need to have in my apartment at all times to be ready for anything? Without further ado, here are the top 5 things I need to have at all times in order to make sure that I can stay as healthy and lean as possible and feel good year round. Now remember guys, I think number 5 is the most important, but I'll let you decide in the comments down below. Before we get too deep into this, I just want to remind you guys that this isn't direct dietary advice for anyone. This is just what I do and what works for me, and I'll explain it as I go along why it works for me. If you'd like to take inspiration from this, that's awesome. If you think one of these things won't work for you, then don't do it. This is just what works for me and how I've been able to attain my physique and my health for as long as I have. As a reminder, I am a type 1 diabetic, so take that into account when I make decisions. I also do take into account my blood sugar. The first thing I'd like to address is 0-calorie and low-calorie sauces. Something like Miss Buttersworth or G. Hughes, if you're into barbecue sauce. There we go, G. Hughes. Tabasco, a little hot sauce. Can't believe it's not butter spray. There we go. By just using these as a substitute from the full calorie versions, you can actually save so many calories a day just by doing that. And for me, that can be the game changer for me going over my calories or staying within my calories, especially when it gets to the winter time and I'm not moving as much. The second thing that I need to have in my house at all times, honestly, it's not really a need, but the thing that I like to have in my house at all times, protein powder. If you've been following me for a really, really long time, you know that I did used to have it and came back. Very small company that makes these, and these are only sold in the US, so it's incredibly hard for me to get, even though I literally know the owner. We're friends. It's just hard to get. It's a hot commodity. I've definitely tried better tasting proteins, but like when you need a protein that's very neutral flavor that kind of goes in with everything, this one and their chocolate variation, hands down, you can't beat it. And it's got 29 grams of protein, only 4 ingredients of which it's sweetened with stevia. It's only 130 calories. It's the most protein per calories out of anything else. It's the cleanest whey protein on the market, 5 sure. Protein powder for me would be the second most important thing to have in my apartment at all times. The next thing I think that is super important to keep on deck, for me, I make sure that I drink a lot of fluids throughout the day, but I do sometimes get tired of just drinking water all the time, so I definitely like to mix it up with some low-calorie drinks, some Wise iced tea, or zero-calorie drinks. I also keep these on deck. I like to keep my low-calorie or zero-calorie beverages on deck at all times because they change it up for me a little bit so I can taste something different that's not just water. I won't get as fatigued, and it adds to my fluid content as well without adding to my total caloric intake for the day. Where normally an iced tea like this would be over 200 calories, this one is 20. This is a 90% reduction in calories of something of equal value. Over a long period of time, that's gonna make a big difference, especially if you consume it quite regularly. And given that this is my only one left and they gave me a full restock like a month and a half ago, yeah, I like drinking stuff like this. Will certain sweeteners hurt you? Not unless you consume an insane amount, and by the way, we're talking like it would probably be physically impossible to maintain that level of consumption. I'll leave a link for you to buy these down below, but if you're Canadian, you can probably get these in your local stores. They're called Wise teas. They also make regular teas, and you can get them at like Save On, Body Energy Club, Farm Boy, things like that. Or you can get it from their website down below, and I will also leave a link so that you can save some dollar bills and help support your boy. Okay, I'll put it back. Okay. Number 4 on the docket, we've got protein-rich snacks. Honorable mention goes to oats. I have them right behind me, and I'm too lazy to get them. You know what? Nah. Oats also get honorable mention. They're not incredibly high in protein, but they're super helpful to create a quick meal such as protein oats. This in combination with some water and protein powder is the bare essentials for me to get myself a solid pre-workout or post-workout even snack. My favorite protein-rich snacks include, but is not limited to, got Greek yogurt, protein bars. These aren't necessarily my favorite. These are the cheapest pound for pound and kind of most convenient ones for me, the ones you get at Costco. They're called the Pure Protein. Beef jerky, especially when I'm traveling, I like to have this. And speaking of travel, while it's not necessarily incredibly high in protein, it's a nice sweet kick and it does have a little bit of protein and is super convenient because it's a dry snack to bring on a plane if you're traveling or if you're going for long hikes or something of that nature, spending a long time without a meal. These are great because of how dense they are in calories. These are very high calories and these can quickly add up when you just leave them at your house. So this is not something I necessarily regularly purchase. Given that I've been traveling a lot recently, this has definitely gotten a lot of use recently. And the other one that I do like to keep stacked up as much as I can is Babybel Cheese. I normally like to buy the light version, which is like a light blue package, but they didn't have it the last couple times that I went, so we're going with this one anyways. Also tastes amazing. So this is definitely something that we have around all the time, especially when it's on sale, which is like almost never. They're not exactly cheap. I do like to have them all the time, so that's my one thing that I'll definitely get into. Let me just jump in here with a disclaimer. The reason why we want to have protein-rich snacks is because one, they're very satiating, and two, amino acids or proteins are the building blocks of muscle. We need protein on deck to build muscle. The literature suggests that anywhere from about 1.6 grams of protein per day per kilogram of your body weight to about 2.2, which is about 1 gram per pound of body weight, is deemed as optimal to help grow muscle mass. We also see that diets typically high in protein, the macronutrient, not the powder, but also could be the powder. The people that follow high protein diets are typically leaner than those who follow moderate to low protein diets. So we try to make sure that we can hit that number all the time because we want to stay lean and have enough protein on deck in order to help facilitate muscle growth. The most important thing for staying healthy and lean is fruits and vegetables. While I'll only have fruits here, because again, I'm leaving for a trip tomorrow, fruits and vegetables, especially frozen fruits and vegetables. I have a whole bunch of frozen fruit in my freezer and frozen vegetables in my freezer at all times because we want to make it as easy as possible to make meals as low calorie and as filling as possible. Fruits and vegetables are packed full of micronutrients and fiber, so they help to keep you satiated without the added spike to your total caloric intake. Not only that, things like kiwi and kimchi have been shown to benefit your gut. Kiwi is even shown, especially eaten with the skin, to help improve sleep habits. Delicious. Now you may have noticed a pattern here, and that pattern is pretty simple. We're leaning to lower calorie food, and we're trying our best to control our environment. In my opinion, most people that struggle to keep their weight down, aside from those individuals that struggle with chronic health outcomes, most people that struggle to keep their weight down often surround themselves with an environment that is not conducive to losing weight. For example, the usual big giveaways, they don't have access to lots of fruits and vegetables, and they think that by buying frozen or canned, that they are deemed lesser in quality, which is not true. We know that in almost all cases, frozen fruits and vegetables and canned fruits and vegetables are often just as good, if not better quality fruits. The reason why is they're picked at peak ripeness and then they're stored in such a way that they hold their ripeness until you open that container, or in the case of frozen fruits and vegetables, it is until you thaw them out. So once you open that canned fruit or vegetable, of course, then they will restart the spoiling process, but until that point, they will stay good. The other thing is we drink a lot of our calories. If you think about a coffee by nature is actually 0 calories, but sometimes when we end up going to these coffee shops getting these $10 lattes, well, those $10 lattes are not 0 calorie. In fact, they're usually pretty high up there and could be a full meal in and of itself. So while we think that it's like, oh, we're just drinking, a thing here and there one ends up being more frequent than we think, and two, it adds up pretty quickly. 500 calorie latte once every single day, that's pretty much a meal that I could have had every single day. The best way to optimize your nutrition is to take advantage of the things that you know are your crutches. For example, me, I don't love drinking water all the time and I'm a peckish snacker. So I need to make sure I have high protein snacks and things that taste good but are low calorie. Also, for my diabetes, I don't want to have to be injecting insulin all the time. That is another reason why I make sure that the drinks that I have are not going to be raising my blood sugar. We want to make sure that we're not adding extra calories to our total daily intake, and that's a great place to start. 300 calories over time, which is effectively what you've saved from not getting a latte or like 2 of these drinks per day. So if you're someone that consumes 200 calorie beverages per day or 1 big bottle version, you can save that in 1 day. If you changed nothing else and that was the only thing you changed, you could save 300 calories in just that way. Along with exercise, 300 calorie deficit over the span of 10 days will lose you about 1 pound of fat. So that's pretty significant. It's really about being consistent and really being persistent about the way that you surround yourself in your environment. If you don't buy it, you won't want to eat it. If you still want to eat it, go out and get it, but don't buy so much that you're going to be having it for the next 4 or 5 days. And with all that said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave the video a like, comment, and share it with someone. I want you guys to know that I appreciate it so much. It really does help the channel grow, and I will see you guys tomorrow.